Hey, what's up, au pairs, and welcome back to the channel. Recently, over on my Instagram, I asked you, what are your biggest regrets as an au pair? And so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing those with you, as well as my 4 biggest regrets during my time as an au pair and how you can learn from them. So let's go. I could have built a better relationship with the boys. So I think many au pairs kind of suffer with this one to some extent because you don't realize how quickly your time as an au pair just goes by. And the next thing you know, you got 3 months left and you look back on your time as an au pair and you're like, well, where's all this time gone? And now I wish I had built a better relationship with my host kids. So what you need to learn from this is that every single time that you have time with your host kids, although they might make you mad and whatnot, just realize that you need to also have some quality time together, because sooner or later, you're no longer going to be an au pair and you will wish that you still had time with your host kids. I always feel bad when gone for the whole weekend, but why should I? YOLO. So this one I can kind of agree with, especially in the beginning. I felt like I always needed to be there at the house to just look after the kids and just help out where I can. But you do need to realize that you still have your own life to live. This is a cultural exchange program. You still need to cultural exchange with other people. So do not feel bad about taking time for yourself and making friends. Sticking with the family that took advantage of me, I wished I knew I didn't have to. So I do know that a lot of au pairs are scared of the whole rematch situation, because there is a slight chance that if you do go into rematch, you might not find another family and then you kind of have to go back to your home country, because then your time as an au pair is over because you need a host family. So I know that can be quite a difficult situation to be in, and I know a lot of au pairs, they might not speak up about things that are bothering them to their host families because they're just scared of the fact that their host family might say, okay, well, no, I don't want you to be my au pair anymore because you don't want to do this, this, and this, or whatever. But if there is something that it's like really bad and you do not feel comfortable with it whatsoever, you need to go into rematch, because it's not worth it. You need to enjoy your time as an au pair. It's not worth it to just bite your tongue all the time or walk on eggshells or something to that effect. So I would suggest rather go into rematch than have to live the rest of your time as an au pair and just be unhappy. There's nothing wrong with going to rematch. Not traveling enough, that I'm not going to more different places, not traveling enough, didn't travel as much in the first year because I was extending, and then pandemic. So I think, yeah, your au pair year, your time as an au pair, it goes by so quickly. And I don't know, I think you just get caught up too much in just looking after the kids and the whole au pair routine, that sometimes you forget that you have a lot of time off that you need to take. I mean, in my second year, I never even took, so you get like 2 weeks per year. I didn't even use the full 2 weeks to go on vacation or whatever. I used some of it, but not all of it. In my first year, I used all of it. But in my second year, I kind of didn't, and I wish I did. And now I know with the pandemic and whatnot, it has made things a lot more difficult to travel, but things will get better, and they are getting better. So don't worry too much about that. There will still be time for you to travel, but just try plan ahead and be like, okay, in a couple months, I'm going to do a day trip or a road trip with some au pair friends, and just so that you don't have those regrets of not traveling enough. But I do think every au pair to some extent does have that regret. I mean, I wish I traveled more, and I traveled a lot. Went home for Christmas instead of to Prague, and then COVID hit. Travel while you can. So yes, I do agree with that. Travel while you can, because you never know when something like a pandemic will hit the world, and then there's literally like no traveling whatsoever. But I must say, in my first year, I went home for Christmas. To some extent, I don't regret it, because I loved surprising my family and my friends. But there's also a little bit, like there's a little part of me that regrets it, because it was a lot of money for the flights. And yeah, but I mean, you live and you learn. But definitely the takeaway here is travel while you can, because you never know what the future holds. Not speaking to hosts openly from the start about things that bugged me. Not standing up for myself when being criticized by host parents. So yes, so as an au pair, I know it's scary in the beginning and it's daunting, and yeah, now there's these new people that you're living with and whatever, and you just want to be a yes man and just say yes to everything that they say so that you don't look bad. But you really need to set up boundaries from the beginning. Otherwise, there are unfortunately those host parents who will take advantage of you. And because you said yes a couple times, they'll just constantly think that it's always going to be a yes. So you need to learn how to stand up for yourself. And this is just a great life skill in general. So learn how to say no and learn how to stand up for yourself. Don't take no shit from nobody. Not having a goal in the beginning, like saving money for college. So I think you get two types of au pairs. There's the au pair who just wants to use this as time to travel and see the world, and they just one of like the downsides is that you have to like look after the kids as your job kind of thing. And then there's another au pair who actually like wants to participate in the whole cultural exchange program and become a member of the family, and then also use this as time to actually save quite a lot of money so that they can go back to their home country and study, because that's usually what happens. Like you finish matric or you finish high school and then you go in au pair and then you come back to your home country and then you study. Or sometimes au pairs, they study in America or wherever it is that you au pairing. But I do think it is very, very important to have a goal in mind, because you don't necessarily want your gap year to be a waste. I mean, yes, if all you want to do is travel and you know that from the beginning that you just want to have a good time and travel, by all means do that. But if you want to have a productive gap year, also do things during your time as an au pair, like when you can study, that will maybe further your career or help you out in certain other aspects of your life, or look at new hobbies or new passions or something like that. But I think it is important before you leave to become an au pair that you have some form of goal in mind and some things that you do want to achieve, just to keep you on the right path. Ticking things off others' bucket lists instead of mine, now scrambling to do some of mine. So I know if you're more of an introverted person, then you finally get to make friends. It's like absolutely great. But in those certain circumstances in the friend groups, usually the extroverted ones will be the ones making the plans and be like, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. And then so you do end up doing things that maybe you still enjoyed, yes, but it's like it wasn't entirely what you wanted to do. You're kind of fulfilling someone else's dream and some things that someone else wanted to do. So never forget that you need to have your own goals like previously, but if you got certain things on your bucket list of what you want to achieve in your au pair year, never forget that you still need to do that. And it's fine if some of your friends don't want to do that. It's perfectly fine to travel by yourself. I mean, I don't think I could ever really travel by myself. That's just me. But if you can travel by yourself and do all those things, you have all my admiration and respect. Extended the second year with the same family. I could have been to a different place, not extending with a different family. So when it comes time to extend, there is this dilemma of, now, should I stay with this family? I kind of already know them. They already know me. Things are pretty good. Or I have this opportunity to go to find a new family and live in a different part of the country, in a new city or so on, and experience new things and meet new people. So it does depend what you want to do. Some au pairs will know 100% that they want to, like, this is their opportunity. Maybe they never had a good time with this host family. So it's, oh, cool, there's this opportunity now for me to go and find a different host family without having to go into like rematch. So then that's the route that they take. But you get au pairs like me who I thoroughly enjoyed where I was staying. I loved my city and I felt like I still had so much more to explore in it. And I made like really, really cool friends and I didn't necessarily want to leave them. And because I had such a strong bond with the boys, that's why I didn't want to leave them. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to extend with this family. So it's definitely something that you really need to think about. If you're happy where you are, 100% extend there. But if there is maybe a slight chance that you would like to be with a different host family or meet new people in a different part of the country, then maybe you should rather extend with a different family in a different city. Not doing more of the things I really wanted to do just because I couldn't find someone to do it with. I realized later on that traveling alone is amazing too. See? So like it gives me anxiety thinking of traveling by myself. And I'm sure some of you can relate to that, but that's how I'd always need someone else to travel with. I can't really travel alone. But if you are one of those people who can travel alone, Like our friend over here who said that I realized later on that traveling alone is amazing too. Once you do realize those things and you get out of your comfort zone, it's actually, and I've heard so many people say this, that it's so cool to travel by yourself because you can literally do anything and everything that you want, and there's no one that you have to speak to about it and be like, are you cool with this? Or do you want to do this? Is this the place that you want to eat at? So sometimes traveling alone is probably the best option. Hey, should have been firmer with my kids in the beginning instead of trying to do it now. But I didn't speak their language at the time, so it was hard. Also, staying with the host family over a year, even though they're a good family, it isn't the best idea. So this is why I kind of said earlier that you need to set up boundaries with the host parents, but you also do need to set boundaries with the kids, because right in the beginning is like the sweet spot of when they will test you to see what they can get away with. And if you don't reprimand them on things and say like, no, this is wrong, do not do this, or this is not something that I will accept, as kids, they'll be like, okay, cool, I can get away with this. And they'll just keep on doing it and on doing it. And the longer the time that goes by without you saying anything to them, it kind of solidifies, and it'll be really, really difficult to get out of that behavioral pattern. So that's why you need to set things straight with the kids and with your host family right from the beginning. Otherwise, you're just going to have problems down the line. But I do understand that if you don't necessarily speak the language or don't speak it that well, then it can be a little bit more difficult to convey those things to the kids or even to the parents. But that is why you should have a pretty decent understanding of the language before you even start going to au pair. Not saving more money, not saving money. So yes, I think a lot of au pairs, they have this idea that they want to save money, and it'll be a good way to save money because you don't have to pay for accommodation or pay for food. But when you really start making friends and enjoying your country and everything, it is pretty easy to start overspending, or just like you get all these different shops that you've never seen before, and it's like, oh, there's so many cool clothes or there's cool other things in these shops, and then you just buy. So you kind of just forget about saving, and then right at the end of your year or your time as an au pair, you kind of regret all these dumb purchases that you made. But that's why it's definitely, if one of your goals is to save and not necessarily just to have like a blast and like experience and then just not necessarily worry about money, that's why you need to have a goal from the beginning. Am I going to save? How much am I going to save? I know how much I'm going to get paid. So how much of this every single week is going to go into savings? And if you would like some help on saving, I do have a video, and I will link it up here and down in the description below. And it is how I saved thousands of dollars as an au pair. So I'm pretty sure this video will help you. No, I know this video will help you. So definitely check that video out. Not being friends with Americans earlier. So I kind of do understand this one, because I was very shy in the beginning, and it took me a long time to actually make friends and meet people. And I know I should have gotten out in the first month, but it took me months to actually start venturing out and meeting people. But just, don't be scared. Americans will absolutely love you. The moment that you open your mouth and they hear an accent, they'll be so intrigued by you, and they would just want to learn everything about you. So one thing that did surprise me is that Americans are very, very, very friendly, and I absolutely love that. So go outside today. After you watch this video, go outside and make some friends. Starting my au pair adventure during the COVID pandemic. I am very sorry. My heart goes out to all of the au pairs who were au pairs during like last year and also like this year, but mostly last year, because it wasn't the experience that everyone else portrays, or the other previous au pairs, former au pairs have portrayed, and what you've probably seen on social media, what you've seen here on my channel. You didn't necessarily get that, and I am sorry about that. But it's nothing you could have really predicted, and I'm sorry that you were in that situation. But I just hope that you did make the best of your time as an au pair, and maybe you still have opportunity now to go to maybe a different country or go to a different city or state. And I do think things will start to get better and you will be able to travel more. But yeah, it's just really unfortunate that what happened last year. staying in on your day off because you thought you need to recharge instead of exploring. So I don't know. I do realize that sometimes looking after kids, it can be tough. It is tough, and it does drain you, especially if you work a lot of hours. But as much as you sometimes can recharge by just like chilling by yourself, and yes, sometimes that's me, like I just need to be by myself just to recharge. But I think especially in your au pair year, the best way is to get out of the house, get away from the kids and the parents, and just go be with your friends, or go meet new people, or just go do something by yourself, go kayak down a river or something. But I think that would be definitely during your au pair year, that is the best way you can recharge, rather than just sitting at the house. Because also if you're at the house, the chances that the host parents will ask you to do something is very, very high if they know that you're there. And even if the kids know that you're there, they'll probably come into your room or something like that. So what I do suggest is on your days off, just get out the house. Even if you have just walk somewhere, rather just get out the house. Don't stay in your house. Don't stay in the house on your days off. Falling in love. Lol. Yeah, so this one, sometimes you can't help it. You might say to yourself, yeah, I'm going to be an au pair for X amount of months, a year. I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm not going to get into a relationship. But you never know what the universe is going to bring your way, and you never know who's going to come into your life. So one thing I do want to say is, and I firmly believe in this, it's that I would much rather have loved and lost than never taken the opportunity and never loved at all. So if that brings you some solace, then I hope so. But I do know the whole situation of falling in love while you're an au pair it's tough, and I'm sorry. Spending money on clothes or stuff I don't really need. Haven't saved enough money, enjoyed my life too much. I regret so much wasting my time at the mall and ice cream shops. COVID came and I didn't travel. So this is just another one of going back on the goals. So if you want to save, then save and set money aside and just be diligent about that. And just realize that I know it's hard to be in a different country, and now there's all cool clothes and all cool gadgets and toys and so on and so forth that you don't necessarily have in your own country. And now you have this money, and that you don't really have other expenses because food's taken care of and accommodation's taken care of. So you just have this extra money lying around. So it is very easy to just be like, I can buy this, yeah, I can afford it. But it is hard to live with the regrets of wishing that you had saved money. So now I'm doing something now with the money that I've saved from au pairing, and if I never saved this money, I don't know where I would have got this money from, but I am so glad that I did save, and that I saved as much as I did, because I really need this money for something, and I hope to tell you about it someday, but I just can't emphasize saving enough. So emphasize saving money enough. So I'm sorry, but use this as a learning lesson from here on out for the rest of your life, so that you should save. And all you future au pairs, save. But there's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself and enjoying your time as an au pair, but everything in moderation. Brought too many clothes from home. So this is probably like every single au pair ever. That's why if you're a new au pair, definitely watch my what to pack video. I'll link it up here and in the description below, just to help you out so that you don't bring a lot of stuff that you really don't need. But I know a lot of au pairs, you don't necessarily know what to expect, and you want to bring all of your nice clothes so that you actually have clothes, but you don't realize how much money you'll actually spend on clothes and buying clothes once you are there in your country. You do buy a lot. So whatever you have in mind of what you want to pack, a third of that, just leave it in your home country, please. You'll thank me later. Not saying yes to more adventures, but I have learned so much. The best thing I ever did. So I completely agree with this. When I started my time as an au pair, I said that I'm going to be a yes man, and I'm going to say yes to every single opportunity that I get. But kind of in the beginning, every single opportunity that I got was, do you want to, or can you work on the weekend? So yes, I did make a lot of money in the beginning. But once I started making my friends, I was like, okay, they want to go out this weekend. We're going. So I did spend, once I made my friends, it was kind of bad because I spent a lot more money and I saved a lot less, but I don't regret it whatsoever. Au pairing was the absolute best decision I ever made for myself and for my life. And if I was never an au pair, I don't know where I'd be right now. You definitely wouldn't be watching this video right now because it just wouldn't exist. But au pairing changed my life and I'm so thankful that I decided to do it. If you're enjoying this video so far, then please give it a like and subscribe if you aren't already. So now we're on to my biggest regrets. Life isn't long enough for you to be able to learn from every mistake that you could possibly make. So the best way to do it would be to live a life where you've made the least amount of mistakes possible, but that is just because you've learned from other people's mistakes. My first regret would be that I didn't start sooner. As most of you know, I started au pairing when I was 25 and ended when I was 27 years old. After I realized how much I enjoyed the program and how much I learned about myself because of the program, I wished I'd done it sooner. I wish I'd started au pairing in my early 20s, like even from 20, and just kind of done a year in every different country around the world that does au pairing. Like, do you know how cool that would have been to have been a year in America, a year in the Netherlands, a year in Germany, Australia, New Zealand? That would have been the absolute best way to spend your 20s, in my opinion. My second regret as an au pair is that I was very shy. I was still very shy. I'm normally quite quiet and reserved, and I was kind of hoping that through the au pair program, I would kind of get rid of my shyness because I was being pushed so far out of my comfort zone that I would kind of be forced to not be shy anymore. But for like the first 8 months, I still pretty much stayed in the house with the kids and just did only things with my host kids. But when I started making friends, when I started meeting people and making friends, that's when I really, really enjoyed being an au pair and my time as an au pair in America. My advice to you is to get out of the house as soon as you can, meet people, make friends, and start enjoying your time as an au pair because it'll end very, very quickly, sooner than you expect. My third regret is that I saved a lot, but I didn't invest. So majority of my money that I saved, it was in my bank, but you earn almost nothing with keeping money in a bank, to be honest. The interest you get on the money that you have in your savings account in your bank is very, very little, and you do not get a lot of money. This year, I found out about Bropair, and it's a place that you can keep your money. It's kind of like a savings account, investment account, but the amount of interest that you earn is ridiculous. So I don't even think the interest that I earned in my time as an au pair was like $10 or whatever. But through the money that I've put into this Bropair account, I've only been on it for maybe 3 or 4 months, and I've probably earned close to $70 with the amount of money that I have in there. But I mean, $70 interest, like that's amazing. And so with this Bropair account, I can also invest in cryptocurrencies, so like Bitcoin or Ethereum, so on and so forth. So if you are interested in that, then send me a message. But my referral link will be down in the description below. And if you do decide to click on it and go with them, then if you deposit, I think $100, then we'll each get $10 worth of Bitcoin. So if you want to do that, then perfect, do that. But you don't necessarily have to. I'm just letting you know that you should really look at investing as well as saving while you are an au pair, because your money is just going to sit and sit and sit, and it's not going to do anything. So if you want to learn more, then just let me know. My fourth and final regret of my time as an au pair is that I wasn't assertive enough. I didn't set boundaries from the beginning. For months, I said yes to every time my host mom asked me to work on the weekends. But that's also just because I kind of knew I wasn't really going to be going out because I didn't have any friends at the time. So I was going to be at the house in any case. So I might as well make money while I'm going to be at the house. But it was also like a crutch because I just used it as an excuse. Oh, I have to work on the weekend, it was an excuse for me to not go out and meet people. So my suggestion to you, and I really do hope that you listen to me on this one, set boundaries from the moment you get there to your host family. You will thank me later. Don't be scared to say no. One thing that I've learned in my life so far is that living with regret is the absolute worst thing. So if you can, try your best to learn from our mistakes, the au pairs before you. It'll make your time as an au pair so much better. Trust me on this. So thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. I'll truly appreciate it. And subscribe if you aren't already. What is one of your biggest au pair regrets? Let me know down in the comments below. And as you know, I reply to every single one of my comments. I hope you have a great day, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.